Hello friends, this is tutorial number 98 in these Java programming language tutorials. In this tutorial we will have one bonus lecture. One of my favorite students sent me one problem and I need to help to this problem to be resolved, and I'm really glad to help, and I'm send regards to my student Lisa, and I'm always happy to help her. And let me see this problem. We have this one problem statement. This is the body fat calculator. We already did it in Turbo Pascal. We did it yesterday, but this now we will need to do it in Java, and it will be a lot of different because we need these are two different languages, and of course each professor has his own way of work. And let me see this how it will be done. We have a body fat formula for women. These are formulas, and as we can see, we have here these are not variables because it used to be uppercase. It begins with uppercase, which means these are const, I suppose. And we have body fat formula for men. Okay, we have just two. Okay, we have more const here. We have from A1 to A5, and here we have A1 and A2, weight and waist, and here we have some extra fields. The one thing that I don't like, because these are a const, and we have a const with the same name. Okay, we can resolve it, but I always like to use a const, and if I have, it doesn't matter, we can have const as many as we want, but it is better to have all different names of the const, or maybe he wants two different programs, but I don't think so, because we have here formula for woman and formula for men. Okay, we will see the solution that we will gonna use. I have some idea that will be implemented. And let me see the input format. Your program should prompt the user to enter the following information: gender, female or male. And we have this, we need to input these two fields. But here is the case: if the user is woman, your program should prompt the user to enter the following extra information, and we suppose that these are these three extra information. That's good: of wrist measurement, hip measurement, and forearm measurement. Okay, that's clear. Your program should output the body fat and the body fat percentage. Okay, we need to enter all of these fields, and we need to get our result. It doesn't matter if the user is a male or user is female. The difference is input. A woman has three extra input, but the result output needs to be the same. We need a body fat and body fat percentage, which is perfectly clear. Now let me see the example, and we have this example. Your program should be able to produce the following sample runs. And first case, if this is the case, if the user is female, and we have this example: enter your body weight. Okay, we need to enter these fields, these 5 fields, and this is some numbers. For example, as I can see, this is our numbers without decimals. Okay, we can put float or double, but my if I suppose that he use numbers without decimals, I suppose that he wants to we implement to we put these variables as integer, and of course we can do it. As a result, we have real numbers with decimals. We will enter all of these fields with these numbers, and when we test our application, we will use these same numbers. As a result, we need to get this body fat and body fat percentage. Of course, we need to use formulas, and I see percent here, which is okay. We will use it. And this is the second case. If the user is a male, of course we have two fields. We have two values, 236, and this is the result. This is perfectly fine. And we have a third case. If the user is the gender is baby, we type baby, we will have this message. And I think that he wants, if we enter the gender and the gender is not male or female, or we type something else, we will just have this message, which shouldn't be a problem. And let me see the specification about this problem. The numbers appeared in the formulas for body fat calculation should be declared as named constants. I use a keyword final, which is correct, because as we supposed, this was these names were with these were formulas, and it has uppercase, and we already know that we use lowercase for variables and uppercase for the const, which is fine. I really don't like that we need to use A1 with two different formulas, but I know, I think I know the solution. We use console.next. Okay, use console.next. As you saw in my previous tutorials, when I use scanner, I'm using input, and I will use it. Okay, I'm always using input, and I will use it this time because I can type console, and later when I need a scanner again, I will use input. I think that I will need to use it couple of times, and I will use input. Of course, you can use console. It's up to you what you will gonna use. And when we have use compare to or equals methods to compare two strings. Okay, we will use equals, and okay, we will use equals as always. We already did it in our tutorials. In your program you should have three branches. We already saw that if the user is female, if the user is male, or if we type something else, we will have the third case. This is perfectly clear. And format the output to have two decimal places. Okay, this is interesting because we will have a number maybe with 6 or 7 decimals. We need to calculate, to display it with 2 decimals. Shouldn't be a problem, and use appropriate identifiers for variables. Besides the variables denoted in problem statement, you are allowed to declare other variables to help you. That's not a problem. And here is how it needs to start our program. Should be well documented. Okay, this is more for communication. This 7 it's just for communication between students and professor. The point is, okay, you can type when we type about these comments, you will type it. You can type whatever you need or whatever you want. I will not enter about these comments. I just want to create application that works. We will have package PA3. Okay, we will made one, and the class will be body fat calculator. It should be done. And we have static scanner, I don't think so. We will see. We will see about it yet. Now once you are done, okay, this is perfect. Let's go to Eclipse and let's try to resolve this problem. What we will do? Okay, I don't have here this Java project that we completed our tutorials. I didn't delete them, but I think, or maybe I don't know. I really don't know. If you need my previous tutorial, you have all exercise available on YouTube. But here I have, because we currently are running Scala full course, and this is Scala project. We can't touch it. We'll create a new. Let's create a new project, because now we don't have Java project, and needs to be Java project, and Eclipse is a little bit lazy. Okay, it will be Java project. Let's create it quickly. Eclipse today is a little bit lazy, and we need simple name. We will call it starter. Here is Scala starting, and here will be starter Java. You can type name of the project whatever you want. It doesn't matter. Okay, our Java project is created, and let me see again. I think that it was PA3, the name of the package. Let's create one, and Eclipse is a little bit lazy, but let's try. Okay, let's go to the source and let's create a package. The name of the package will be PA3. Let's finish, and let's create the class. I think the class was body fat calculator, of course, with let's create body fat calculator with main method. And let me see our class. Too slow Eclipse today. Okay, it's not about Eclipse. I'm occupied with my some of my projects, and because of this I'm using another programs, and this Eclipse is a little bit slow. Okay, here it is. We have our class body fat calculator, and let's start. But here I will not use. We will use scanner. We will use scanner, and it will be input equals to new scanner system.in. Okay, and we need to import this scanner from the Java library. We are pressing Ctrl Shift and O, and our scanner will be imported as we did now. This is perfect. And now what we need to enter the gender, and let's write here in the main method. Let's type. Let's use system out print line, control space. Okay, I have I will show you later. And let's write let me see how application will start. We want to do the same way as the professor wants. Where are these cases? Okay, in all of these three cases, we have this welcome using the body fat calculator. We will not write it 3 times. We'll just write it once. Let me copy this. I will use copy. Let's copy it to our Eclipse, and maybe it's better. First, let me copy this first. We will use it just once. I will use paste. This will be good. And let's now we will use a system out print line. I have this because I have installed Scala library. You will, if you work only with Java, you will have just one option. And let me open the quotes, and let me close the quotes here, and let me close the bracket, and I need a semicolon. That's okay. And I will create once more system out print a line, and let me create a quote. It will be double quote, and here I created 2 double quotes. I need one here and one here, and let me close this bracket. We will just have these ones because whatever option we have, we will have this option. Welcome using the body fat calculator, which is okay, and we will have these stars. I'm not the only one who used the stars. And now we will need to input a gender, but first we will need a question. And it will be enter your gender. And now we will need a string gender. Will be equals to input dot next line. And now we will enter our gender. And now we will have let me go back to the problem. We will need these 3 options, but it depends what we will select. If the user is female, okay, we will have this. If the user is male, we will have this. And if we type something else, this is a perfect situation for control statement. And let's write the control statement. It will be if, and we have equality of string. Let's use first we will open the bracket, if gender, and we will use equals ignore case. Equals ignore case, it means that maybe we will type here we will write lowercase and we will enter uppercase. It is better we can use male or female. No, it doesn't matter if we will use a lowercase or uppercase. Here we will write female with uppercase, but it doesn't matter when we run up the application. We can use the lowercase. And now let's define it. But we will have a lot of, I saw these formulas. We will have A1, A2, A3, A4 and A5, and we have a B. Let me back to the problem. We will have these formulas, and for me, if we put all of this in the main method, it will not be good. I will create, maybe this is not the way that professor wants, but this kind of problems I need to use with different methods, and I will create a method. It will be calculate. It will be calculation for a female, and I will call this method. And of course, I will have an error because I didn't define that method. But I will do it later. Let me give this couple of space, and I will use now else if. And now it will be gender equals, I need equals, ignore case, and Eclipse is lazy again, but here I found it. Too lazy Eclipse today, but okay, here it is. And I need another string, it will be male. I will use uppercase, and now I will define it. I will use a method, I will need a method calculate male. It will be the name of the method. And again we will have the error because we didn't define it. And we will have else statement. And inside the else statement, okay, if we type something else, it's not a female, it's not a male, we will get the message. Let me use system out print line, and let me see this message. I think the gender type that you enter is invalid, and it is better to save some time. Yes, we will just copy this entire message. We will paste it to our Eclipse. And we will resolve that problem. Okay, third case is resolved. If we enter something that's not a female, not a male, we will just have this message. And now what we want to do, I want to create these methods, calculate female and calculate male. Of course, if you know better names, this was the first on my mind to create the name of the methods, but here is the class. And we need here, let's create a method. Public static, it will be void, and it will be, let's define the method calculate female. I try to use control and space, but it's not possible. For the moment we need to use manually. And now let me see here. Okay, as you can see, we have a method, we creating a method calculate female, and the error disappeared. And of course we will create another method, public static void, and it will be calc male. And if we create now, the error disappeared. And now what we need, but we just defined this, we just give the names, we created these methods, but we didn't define. And now let's define. First, let me use these formulas from the problem. Okay, here is the formulas for woman. We can copy all of these formulas. We will copy them and we will paste them here. And we can use Okay, we will have, of course, we will have errors. We can, maybe it's better to comment this, and let's use this. We will use this formula, but also we will need text, and of course also we can also, let me see the first case. But we don't need this. We just define this welcome using the body fat calculator. It's already defined. We need to copy and paste from here, but we will not. We will just need here enter your these messages. Enter your body, enter your wrist, waist, hip, to save some time. We will copy it and we can paste it here. And of course we can delete these numbers. All of these numbers we will delete. Or maybe we could comment it. Maybe it's what's better. We just could comment these numbers. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We will use it later when we need it. And now what we need to use, this will be our message. We need to use system out print line. And let me open the double quotes here, and here I need to close double quotes and need to close the bracket, and error will disappear. Also I need to use system out print line here. Okay, a mistake. We have opening bracket, opening double quote will close here, and let me close the bracket and let me use semicolon. And now we will have that message, and we need to do it 3 more times. Let's do it. But Eclipse is a little bit lazy, but we can't do anything about that currently. Now let me delete this. Let me use a double quote. Okay, and we need to closing double quote, closing the bracket and semicolon. And now we need once again system out print line. Too much problem with Eclipse. Let me type again system out print line. Okay, now it's better. And let me opening bracket, opening double quotes. Here I will close the double quotes, and I will close the bracket and semicolon, and I need these ones again, but I forgot to open double quotes. Close the double quotes, close the bracket, and we need a semicolon. Now it's okay, we have our message. We need to enter body weight, wrist, waist, hip, and forearm. We need to enter all of these fields, but of course inside these methods we will need again scanner input equals to new scanner and system.in. we will use also scanner inside this method. Now we have these formulas, but before these formulas, let's separate this a little. Let's input these fields that we need. As we can see in the problem, these numbers were integers, and let's create integers. Integer, and it's a body weight. It will be weight will be equals to input dot next integer, which will be okay. We need a semicolon, and here we have a message: enter your wrist, and let's create integer wrist will be equals to input dot next int, but we could use, just to save some time, we can just use copy and paste, but it doesn't matter. But we need to change the name of the variable, nothing complicated. And here will be waste, it will be integer waste will be equals to input dot next integer. It's fine. And we have heap measurement. Let me create integer heap will be equals to input dot next integer. This is a variable that we need to create, and we need one more variable. It will be integer forearm will be equals to input dot next integer. And this will be okay. We have this yellow because we didn't still use. We will just enter, but we will not use them. And we have this comment here. Here inside we these are the formulas defined, and now let's use them. We need A1, and it will have, as we can see, we have a decimals. It means that can be a float or can be the double. We will use a float, but these are a const. We need to use final. A1 will be equals, and we have a weight, body weight. It will be our variable weight. It will be weight. And here we have these brackets, but we don't need them because here is multiply and here is addition. And why we will use the brackets? 0.7, we will use that formula, 0.732, but this is final, but we didn't define. It will be final float. It will be float, and here we will use f. Plus 8 point, we will just use as this formula 9, and we will use f, and we will use semicolon, and it should be fine. This is our const, and let's create a final float. A2 will be equals, and this will be a wrist, but I need a lowercase wrist, divided with 3.140, and it is a float, it needs f. And we define our second constant. Of course, we can try to redefine A2 equals to 0.5 f, but if we want to change this A2, of course it will not be possible because it's a final. This is a const. As we already know, we cannot change const. And let's delete this. I just wanted to show you. Let's create final float. It will be A3 will be equals, this is the formula, waste waste multiplied with 0.157. For us are important this formula. Even I didn't use in my life these formulas, and you of course you don't need to if it's not your job to calculate this. If you are a doctor, maybe you will know to know this. We are just using that formula to create a program for this calculation. Don't worry about this formula, you don't need to have it in mind, but of course we have error because we didn't type f at the end because we are using float. Let's create final float a4 will be equals to heap. It will be heap. Here is it's multiplied with 0.249. This is just a formula, and we will type it here. And we forgot f at the end, and it works fine. And let's define final float a5 will be equals to forearm, and it needs to define it needs to be multiplied. It needs to be multiplied with 0.434f. And we defined from a1 to a5, but we have another cons here. When we define it, we will delete this commented, and we need to define this b. It will be final float b will be equals to a1 plus a2 minus a3 minus a4 and minus it will be plus a5. We define our b variable, and now we have left to define body fat, but it will also be a const. It will be final float. We will write it as I don't know, body it will be body fat. We will use camel case will be equals to we have weight minus b, but now we will have it will be okay because it's a float. And let's create another final float, and it will be body fat percentage. It will be body fat percentage will be equals to body. We need to use body fat multiplied with 100 and divided with weight. And here we can use F because it's float, and it should be done. Now when we completed these formulas, and now we can simply delete this comment, and now we can just see what needs to be printed. Just we need a body fat and body fat percentage. This needs to be output, and let's define. First we will use system out print line Let's use couple of stars. This will be okay, and we can just use copy and paste once more. We will use couple of stars as output, and now we will type. We need to type a message, but there is one. Okay, we can use system out print line. But now we have the situation, because here we will need to write these numbers with 2 decimals, and instead of print a line we will have print f. I don't know, I don't remember if we used them in our tutorials, but maybe not. But we will learn how to use it now, and we need to write our text. It will be a body fat, and we will not, because we are using concatenation, we will just use comma, and let's use we need our const body fat. But what we will gonna use to print it in 2 decimals, we need to type $% and dot 2. It means that it will be printed with 2 decimals. But the problem is now we are using printf. It means that it will be printed. Next thing that we will print will be printed in the same line, and to prevent this, we will use just an empty and space. We will print just one space, and we will have a new line. And now we need to print system out. It will be system out print line, but we will change it to f. And we need to write body fat percentage, and we will have the same thing. It will be we will use again 2 decimals, $% dot 2, and we will use comma, and we will use body fat percentage. It will be okay, but as we remember, let me go back here, we need percent. Here we just need a number, but percentage we need a percent, and let's write this percent. And of course we have printf. Now what we will print, it will be in the same line, and we will just use that percent, and we will use print line. It means these stars will be printed in the new line, and this will be we defining the first if user is female, this method will run. And now we already created another method, but let's define it. It will be calculating male, and we will need formulas for the man. And let's they're up. Okay, not too much formulas. let's copy this. We will copy, but computer is lazy now, but okay. We will resolve our problem, and let me quickly, to prevent these errors, let's comment this. And let's finish our comment here. And now it will be easy. And also we can copy this enter statement, but we just need these two enter statements. But we will copy these two statements. We can copy it here. And we will need system out print line, and we need to enter it, finish it here, and we need a semicolon. Okay, and because of this 200 we can just comment it. And here, let's this 36. We should do it with the first example, but it doesn't matter now. We will put it back. It's not big problem. Let's use system out print line. Let me delete this bracket, closing bracket. Now we have opening bracket and double quotes. Here we need to finish with double quotes, closing, we need just a closing bracket and semicolon, and we have our two entering statements. And maybe it's a better, we can start it with an empty text, and we also could do it, I don't know why I save it. Now we have more job to do. Here we can also start with a little space. Let's put an empty text. It will be okay. Now before we continue, we can just enter your body weight, and of course this is our local variables, and it will be local variables and local const, and of course we can use the same names, and it will be integer weight will be equals to input, but what input we didn't, we need to, just a second, we will use our scanner input equals to new scanner system.in, and now we can use input.next integer, and we can do the same thing. We will do with waste, integer waste equals to input dot next integer, and we enter these two fields that we needed, and now we can define this const. First, of course these are real numbers. We will have final float a1 will be equals to it's a body weight. We have a local variable weight multiplied with 1.08, okay, 082, that's the formula, and plus 94.42. we don't need this need this bracket, we just need semicolon, and we need to use F here, and F here, and our float will be created. And let's create final float. A2 will be equals to we need the waist multiplied with 4.15 F. We defined R2 const, and B final float B will be equals to A1 minus A2, which will be okay. And let's create a final float. It will be a body fat will be equals to weight minus B. It's okay. And now we just need final float. It will be body fat percentage. I think it will be the same formula. It will be equals to body fat multiplied with 100 F, it is a float, and divided with weight. And we defined, this was our formulas. We now can just delete this comment. We don't need it anymore. And to write, now we just need to write, we can copy it. It's the same thing as we have here. We will just copy and paste this because it's completely the same, and we can simply test our application. First, let me use copy and paste. Okay, where is the okay, here is calculating mail. Let's give a couple more space, and we can paste it here. Because it's we need to display body fat and body fat percentage with 2 decimals, and we will see if it will work properly. I already told you it will because we will use the same numbers. I usually never did similar application before, but in Java you never know of what you will gonna have to do. Maybe if you are freelancer, you will receive some job with a similar application, and it's okay, but I just want these numbers 140 and 6. First here the fields 140 is the first and 6 is the second, because we want to test our application with the same numbers, and we have 26 is the third option. I shouldn't delete it, but okay. And we have 34, and I think that we have 12. I will check it. Yes, it is 146, 26, 34, and 12. Of course, we will try it with that numbers, and here we have 236, which is perfectly fine. But now let's use Control Shift and F, and it is just to format our code, and let's use Control and S to save. But of course Eclipse is mine Eclipse is a little bit slow at the moment. I hope that you will not have this problem, and we created this application to resolve that problem. It's not accepting these formulas that are complicated also for me. application is not okay. We have first we will have this message, welcome using body fat calculator, and we will have option to enter our gender, and we will input the gender, and depending what we will enter, if we entering input female, it doesn't matter, equals ignore case, it doesn't matter if we type lowercase or uppercase, it's the same thing. We will have this, we will call this method calculating female, and if we type male, this method will be run calculating male. Hey, of course you can give the name to the methods, other name, whatever you want. And if we type something else, we will have this message, the gender type you entered is invalid, pretty much sure. And let me see here, if we type male, we need to enter these fields, as we have as we saw in the text. What we need to do, we need to enter all of these fields, but we will try it in the example. We have these numbers, and we will enter the same numbers to check that the if result will be the same. We need to enter these 5 fields, and we created this constant, these formulas to calculating the body fat. Pretty much complicated also, and for me, but that's the problem. And when we enter this, it will be calculating using this const, and we will just in the output we will have body fat and body fat percentage, but we will have with 2 decimals. We used printf to be printed with 2 decimals. And the same thing it will be for man, but as we can saw in the problem, man has only 2 fields. We will enter 2 fields. We have these formulas to calculating body fat and body fat percentage, and it will be displayed the same thing as we did in the case with female. And now what we need to do, we will run it, but okay, we can move this a little bit up to, and let me see what we will get. If it will run properly, maybe will, maybe won't, I don't know, but it's too slow. But let me see what we will get. Enter your gender. Okay, we have, let's try third case. Let's enter baby and enter, and the gender type you entered is invalid, which is good. We didn't type male or female. We entered something else, and we have this message in our output. And now let's run it again. Enter your gender. As I already told, it doesn't matter if we will gonna enter male or female. I will type lowercase, and I will type to uppercase. It will be female. It doesn't matter. We need to type female, but it doesn't matter if we will type lower or uppercase. Let's enter, and we have the method. Now we need to enter all of the data. Let me enter, but I already have. We will use these numbers. Let me see these numbers well. Okay, we need to enter these numbers. Let's type 140, and now we will type number 6. Okay, it's a little slow. Okay, enter your waist. It is 26. Enter your hip. It's 34. And enter your forearm is 12. And now we will see the result. We have the error. I don't know. Just a second. Conversion is not good. Let's try. Let me try to resolve it. Just a second. I will see where's the problem. The problem is probably here. Okay, we use this dollar in Scala, but I think that we will not need it here. Instead, we can delete this dollar, and here we can use F. We can use this dollar, but if we use them, it will be printed. We just need F, and here in the other example, let's type F here, and we can delete this dollar. It was my mistake. I think it's the only one. Now let me see where are these numbers. Let's try to run this again. But first we need to let's use again Ctrl Shift and F, and let's save it. And now I will need again. It will be. Let's run it. Enter your gender. Now let's type female. Let's type L will be uppercase, but as I already explained you, it doesn't matter. Now we need to enter. Again 140 and number 6. It's okay, and number 26. Hip will be 34. We are using the same numbers that we have in this homework. As a result, we have body fat is 33.96 and body fat percentage is 24.26%. This was printed pretty much good. Now let's go here in the homework, but it's a little bit lazy. Okay, here it is. Where was the it was here. It is run 1. We have body fat 33.96, and let's check here 33.96, and here it is. Body fat percentage is 24.26%. This means this works perfectly with the case when the user is female. Now we want of course we checked third case when we enter something else. It's not a male or female. Now what we need to do, let's check the second case when the user is a man, and enter your gender. It's a male. We will use a lowercase, and we forgot. Okay, we didn't forget yet anything. We just need to use the numbers. We will use the numbers. This 200, it will be a weight in pounds, and waist will be 36, and here it is. Body fat is 38.58, and body fat percentage is 19.29%. We just need to check it in the homework, and as you can see, it works properly without any problem. The 38.58 and 19.29%. This means this works like a charm without any problem. Okay, I didn't use this printf. Even I didn't use it in Scala. We use in the Scala different way to use 2 or 3 decimals. Okay, this is the one way that we use, and of course we can use round, but it's okay. We will not change anything. This was a little bit complicated. This was not pretty much complicated test. The most complicated here is these formulas, but okay, what can we do? The most important thing that it works properly. Okay, you remember I also forgot a little. I used it more in Pascal and Scala to convert 2 or 3 decimals, but okay, we know how to do it in Java. We just need to use %.2f if we want to with 2 decimals. If we want with 3, we will use 3. And also we did the same thing here. Dollar we using in Scala. We don't need to use it in Java. And of course we already working with our Scala tutorial, and you know, you are using one language, then you are using another one. It's pretty much, it knows to be a little bit complicated, but okay, we're working fine and we resolve this application. I really hope that you like this video. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram. You have a link in the description, and I will see you in the next tutorial.